is a nice copper coin, but Doug, do you know what time it is?
45 up.
Who says 45 of, Doug? It's quarter after. What's up, guys? QuarterHoarder here, and welcome back. It seems like it's been forever and a couple days since we've done one of these, but had a little bit of a busy schedule the last couple of weeks. But we're back now. Our first show back. It should be a fun night. I'm going to try to do something a little different. I've got a whole bunch of really weird, bizarre questions, some that were asked of me, some that I got myself that I'm going to ask the rest of the group, as well as all of you. Try to get some interesting dialogue of some questions that, you might not normally ask before. Metal detecting, treasure hunting, just oddball things. So it should be fun. So I'm going to bring the guys in a second. I did have a super cool guest coming up, but there was unforeseen circumstances. So that'll get postponed. I'll tell you more about that. But we do have a guest next week. And before I bring everybody in, I do want to say, if you haven't seen the news, Phil Robinson, the dad from Duck Dynasty, who, those guys have a metal detecting show, passed away this week. So my condolences for them. Like them or don't like them, those guys are pretty influential. They really stirred up some cool stuff with the Duck show, make metal detecting popular again, helps everybody out. So kudos to them, and my condolences again to the Robertson family. But let me say a couple hellos and I'll bring everybody in. Bobby Alander. Hey, new one for me. Thank you. Welcome, Bobby. 5 Mile Relic Hunter, good buddy. Teresa, the treasure hunter, moderator, always here. Thank you, Teresa. Alan Cleveland, good friend who made us all. When Lynn comes in, I finally saw Lynn, Alan, to give her that keychain you made this weekend. So she got that. Wendy Olson, Detect Dig Smile, how are you? Dave Lee, Rick Roaring, Main Dirt Sweepers. I just love saying that name. How are you guys? Metal Protectorist, who is my new friend that I just did their TikTok live show last week. Super cool. I had so much fun. I had no idea what was going on. That TikTok's a whole nother animal. But I really had a good time hanging out with them all night long. But let me bring in some of our group so you guys can hang out all night long. All night long. And I'll start off with the handsome and charismatic Mr. Dog Tag Doug, Mexican Doug, Jane Fond Doug. How are you, Dougie?
All right. How you doing?
I'm good. You had the big find the last couple of weeks, Doug, but we're not going to dive into recapping.
Yeah.
But you did have the big find, the Roman coin, 310, 312 AD, our second Roman coin for the group. How impressive was that, Doug?
I was very impressed.
Yeah. Are you still riding high off that find? I mean, you'll probably never get older than that. No,
I kind of like the silvers we got last week. So,
well, don't say anything because
I won't.
Doug, I mean, I'm so fortunate at the moment where I've probably got 11 or 12 videos ready to come out. And when I say we've been on some incredible sites, Doug, where like, how am I going to get all this, into one video? No. This Tuesday coming up, wait till you see it. It's just banger after banger after banger because we just killed it. So there's a lot of really good ones coming up down the pike, Dougie.
Yep. Nice to have that problem too.
I know. Listen, some summers, we're not doing so well, but this summer, man, we are off to the races.
Yep.
Let me bring in some other. Let's change the order up a little bit. I'm going to bring in the lady of the night. Oh, the lady of the night. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Has she got her red lipstick on? Okay, yeah, she's.
Oh, let me go get it.
I meant the lady of the. I was going to say the lady of the evening.
The lady of the evening. Yeah.
Worse.
Sidewalk Sally.
I don't know. I'm not a good intro giver for Lynn. But Lynn, how are you? We haven't seen you in a while, Lynn. How has the antique show schedule been going for you?
Yeah, things have all been good, busy, and the shows have all been good this year for some crazy reason. So,
do you have any coming up? I know I have a list of your things here.
The next one I just did Gettysburg. The next one will be Lititz at the end of June.
Oh, I got it right here. Yeah, Lititz.
Lititz.
As we like to call it.
That's
so yeah. Make sure you pop in there. That's not for a couple weeks, right, Lynn?
Oh, that's like a month.
All right, I'll make sure that we talk about it more. We're going to be back with the normal quarter after schedule after those couple of weeks we need to take off. But yeah, everyone can join Lynn in Letitz.
When people ask me, how do you get to Letitz? I said, you just got to feel your way there.
Oh, jeez.
I knew that was coming. I should have kicked him out of the show.
That's right.
I always
Not
have
too
my
late.
finger on the mute button when Doug talks, and I was too
We're
slow.
only this close to being muted.
Let's bring in another man of the hour, Charley, the Heritage Relic Hunter, who's been on fire lately with some really good finds. How are you, Charley?
Good. I have to laugh at you guys at Letitz. It's Lititz. It's Lititz.
Oh,
not
really,
Lititz.
Charlie?
Yeah, it's Lititz.
I mean, listen, I learned how to read pretty early on. Lititz
It just doesn't sound right.
is
Oh, I
Lititz.
think it just rolls right off the tongue.
Lititz.
All right, we'll say Lititz.
All
And
right.
Charlie, what's right next door to Lititz?
Intercourse.
Doug, where's the mute
Intercourse. How do
And
you
then
say
there's
that?
Then there's Burdenhand, and there's
Burdenhand.
button? Yeah, Pennsylvania's got some
It's
really
the
weird.
X-rated part of Pennsylvania.
Just don't visit those places at night. That's all.
No.
Let me also bring in.
You'll get run over by an Amish buggy.
Yep.
True.
Let me bring in the bearded wonder before we start on all the questions again. There is Mr. Rich Van Winkle. Rich, how are you, sir?
Good. How are all you guys doing?
We are living the dream. You had another good weekend this week too. You and it's one of the rare weekends where I did exceptionally good. I'm gonna be I've been putting up pictures on Facebook. You know, I really enjoyed taking those fun pictures with the blurry backgrounds and looking for different things. I don't know. I've become like a photography nerd, you know, in some ranks, but
And
you
there,
had an exceptional weekend this weekend.
there were so many good photography moments at the last property.
Yeah, there was good finds. There was good background things. The homeowners were so kind to us. This was a spot that Charley literally got like that morning. We were at one spot. We weren't doing so good. The farmer pulled up to see who was parked in this area where we were parked at. So Charley went over to make sure we were allowed to park there. Turned out Charley knew the guy, asked him if we can go do his house. And man, I wasn't expecting much. We were there all day.
Unexpected pleasure, that was.
Oh, we might go back again. It was amazing, Charley. We really stepped in a bucket of good luck there.
I was very
Tell me
surprised.
more.
I didn't expect much. It didn't have much ground. The house wasn't that old. I didn't expect much, but boy, I'll tell you, what a surprise.
And it started a little slow too, and then we just slowed down and kept going over and over it, and a bunch of stuff came out.
Yeah,
Finding cool stuff.
No, it was really, really good. Let me see if I can, before I start the questions tonight, which are going to monopolize the show, but let me bring up this one photo. If I don't, hold on, I got to redo it. Hold on. I wasn't expecting this, but I figured I'll knock this out real quick because our moderator, Teresa the Treasure Hunter, we were fortunate enough to have her come up for the last video. So I'm going to bring up a picture of the lovely Teresa with all of us. What do you think about that, Doug?
Good. Since she's not in there we go.
Yeah.
That was quite a group.
Yeah, I mean, there's the group right there. Teresa, who was our lovely moderator, who is in between Jessica and Doug in the back. You know, this is the field that the last two videos that I put up were at. And, you know, dare I say there's probably three or four more as we push through the fields. And each new field seems to almost get better and better than the last one. No need to say anything, Doug. Don't worry.
Oh, I didn't know you were waiting for a comment, but
Nope. I just wanted total silence from all you guys. Appreciate it.
oh, okay.
Appreciate it.
In the real world of radio, dead air is a no-no. So,
Yeah, there's a no-no.
Well,
All
there's
right.
never much of that with Jason talking.
no. Well, that's why you don't know when to say anything unless he says your name.
Yeah.
Right.
Squeeze in when you don't hear me talking.
Oh,
All right, let me see if I can blow us up a little bit bigger, Doug, because here's what my plan was today. I went through a bunch of the weird oddball questions that I've gotten in the comments or emailed. And then I took it a step further and came up with my own odd questions that I thought I would ask the panel as well as the chat. And we'd have a little bit of fun with it, answering some oddball things that don't come up a lot. What do you think of that, Doug?
I think that's a great idea.
So here's what I'll start at. And this one, I'll go around the panel. And please, in the chat, I'd love everyone to jump in, whether you detect or even if you just enjoy watching it. So the first question will be, in honor of Doug digging the incredible Roman coin last week, again, 312 AD. My question that I'll start with you, Doug, is in metal detecting, does older always mean better? Because, a lot of the questions we got were, how much is it worth? And surprisingly, it's not worth a whole lot.
Yeah.
But when you're out there treasure hunting, is older better, or is it not necessarily the case? I'll give you the floor, Doug.
In a lot of cases, it is. Because, we go on older properties for a reason, and it's to find older items, mostly colonial and indigenous to our country. But sometimes I just as soon find something new but unique. Now, in this particular case of the Roman coin, it was old and it was unique because that's the last thing I thought I was going to find. And I know when Charley found his, it was the last thing he thought he was going to find on this colonial property. So, it all depends on where we're hunting and what really we're trying to find in a particular area. But it could vary. In this case, it was both unique and older than any of us would have expected.
For sure. Let me try. Let me bring over Lynn, the rookie of the group. Now, I know Lynn, her, she's a colonial antiques expert. But Lynn, is older necessarily better?
No, I would say not. Sometimes, yes, but even with antiques, just because it's old does not mean it's good. I mean, even back then, something was junky then and it's junky now. It's like even in the case of the Roman coin, if you looked it up, it's really unique and it's great to find, and it's really, a neat thing that we all would like to find. But as far as value, it doesn't have a huge amount of value, but I think it's more valuable to us in finding it, and having the enjoyment and the surprise in finding it that means the most. For sure.
Charley, how about you? Another guy who has had the pleasure of digging 1,000-plus-year-old coins. Does old necessarily mean better? And I'll give an example real quick.
Yeah.
Is, a house we did recently. I won't give any spoilers, but between you and Doug, you guys probably found 10 1900s silver coins. Yeah. Is that equally as exhilarating as finding like one really old coin? What are your thoughts? Old versus maybe, newer, but in condition, quantity. What would be your choice be?
If you look at my showcase in my room, the more of the modern ones, the silver, the value of them, and I don't really look at the value of my stuff, but they're worth a lot more than stuff that's 300 years old. But I just love the old stuff. I love finding the old stuff because every time I pick up a coin. Recently, I found a very old coin, very old drake bust, and I think all the hardships that went on during that period of time for the people who lived during that time in life. And I just like to think about every time I pick up an old coin, think about what life was like back then. So for me, I like the old. It's better for me to find stuff old because I think more about it than something modern or more recent. So,
all right, I like that. I got to go to Rich too. Rich, old or not necessarily old?
For me, most of the time, older is better, but that's just for me. if you're talking value, that's not the case at all. You know, there's several holy grails in metal detecting that are 1900s. But I love the old stuff, and then I also love finding, you know, Tootsie Toys and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, there's one on here. There's a comment. Anthony D says, "Old is good, condition is better," which leads me into my next question. I guess I'll go with Lynn. And in the chat, I'm curious too. Lynn, if you could get a mint condition seeded $50 or a ratty Fugio that you can only make out one letter, what do you want? Do you want the better condition, or do you want the scarcer, harder to find piece?
I want the Fugio.
Even if you can barely see it, like with the side light, and it's got to be perfect, and you can only make out one of the little circles. Like, is that fulfilling enough, or would you rather have something where anyone that comes over your house, boom, look at this, instantly recognizable?
No, I'd still rather have the Fugio because I think it's a lot. There's a whole lot better chance than that I would never find another one, probably. And I might find another seeded $50.
All right, that's fair.
So it's just the rarity and the excitement of the hunt, and you know, the history behind it that is more exciting to me.
I agree. Chat, I'm curious what you guys want while I go through. Rich, I'll go to you next. The condition seeded half or ratty, almost unideable Fugio?
The Fugio is the number one thing I want to find, period.
Absolutely. Mine too.
So, I mean, I can't really think of much other than a 10-pound gold block, you know.
Okay. Did they make that? Did they make
that? But.
All right. Now, Doug, I know you've gotten almost a mint condition seeded $50, but would you rather dig another one or a ratty Fugio?
I have to correct you. I've never gotten a seeded half. I've gotten cap bust.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, then it'll be new for you. A brand new.
I would take the seeded half and a flowing hair half over a Fugio.
You wouldn't. Now, is that because you are a silver lover at heart?
No, I think so, but early American silver is so hard to find. It's so hard to come by. I think just to finish my collection of halves, I would rather have the seeded.
Okay. Hey, there's no wrong answer.
Especially if the Fugio wasn't that, you know, clean and identifiable. I'd rather have the silver. And believe me, I'm not cashing any of it in, no matter how valuable it is.
Well, I have another question about that coming up later.
Okay, so I figured you would.
Yeah,
but I just like the fact that I have a nice collection, and if I can add to it, I would prefer to do that.
No, all right. I agree. Charlie, how about you, sir?
My question, did Ben Franklin design the Fugio?
Yes, he did, personally.
Well, my middle name's been Franklin. Our middle name's been Franklin since 1806 because of him. And I would love to find a Fugio for that reason, too. The historical aspect of it.
Even if it's ratty, doesn't matter.
As long as you can identify it as a Fugio, yes. Jessica just found a jersey. She didn't know it was a jersey, but as time went on, it dried out. And she found out that it was a jersey. She was so excited. Just had a little bit of the shield showing. And that was enough for her, and she was so excited that she finally found her first jersey coin.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. That is great.
I have a question for Charlie.
Go ahead.
Charlie, is there anyone from colonial America that you were not related to? That might be easier for us to digest.
I can't think of any right offhand.
Oh, okay.
I'm with everyone else, I guess, except for Doug. I would much rather get that ratty Fugio, only because, you know, I would think that's more unobtainable, even though they're both really difficult to find. I mean, man, to get a Fugio, it's at the top of my list too, Rich. So,
yep. And flowing hairs are very close. The flowing hair would be great, but
Well,
I gotta
you could
gotta go
insert,
Fujio.
yeah, you could
Yeah.
insert them for any of them.
And if either Charlie or Rich or even Lynn or you happen to find a Fujio while I'm with you, don't turn your back to me.
I never turn my back to you for lots of reasons.
Charlie's trying to figure that one out.
Lynn, I'll start with you for this one. I know my answer, and Doug probably knows my answer. If you had a preference, Lynn, would you rather detect at 16 and 1700s farm fields or 18 and 1900 homes and yards? And I pose that because the farm fields typically get older stuff. The Victorian houses typically get much more quantity of stuff.
And variety.
Right. What would you rather, Lynn? You have your choice of super old but scarce, or a lot more finds but maybe not quite as old.
Oh, I would definitely pick the older.
You would? Okay.
Yeah.
So would you? So you're an old lady.
Yeah, I'm an old soul. There's no contest.
All right, that's fair. Doug, how about you?
Oh,
Colonial farms, Victorian yards.
I do like the Victorian options. And even if we're on a farm field that was during that Victorian age, there seems to be a nicer variety of household items and wearing apparel and things like that that make for a nice showcase. But I think I would go with the Victorian up to early 1900s.
All right, so that's a good choice. Rich, what do you think? Your mom likes the old, Doug likes the newer. What do you want?
I got to go old fields, also because you can look for the Native American items. But that's a really tough question because when we're in the middle of field season, I'm missing yards. And when we're ever in the middle of yard season, I'm missing fields.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's nice to have both, but if you could only choose one, you're going with fields?
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. How about you, Charlie?
You know, we've been fortunate to detect a lot of these old places, and not only detect the places, but to get to go inside the homes.
Yeah,
These old stone colonial homes with the walk-in fireplace. Yes, we love to detect, but we also love to see the homes that people open up to us. And it's quite nice to see how people lived 300 years in the same house, besides finding the stuff outside in the yards.
Sure. So you get more out of the experience then, you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, every place we go, we seem to be allowed to go inside, and they show us around, and it's kind of neat. So whatever we find outside relates to whoever lived inside, I'm sure, in most cases.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I also love both, and I wouldn't want to trade that in. But if I could only pick one, I like that Victorian stuff because when we get a colonial farm, it can be real hit or miss. Sometimes we find nothing. Sometimes we find a lot, even though it's older. But we seem to really have to work super hard, walk miles and miles, and maybe just find a couple buckles. But usually you get around a Victorian house, I know maybe it's because I'm the YouTuber. I know we're going to find a video's worth of stuff around a Victorian house. I love the intricate design work on Victorian relics and buttons and brooches. And it seems like when we do a Victorian house, we still manage to find large coppers and things like that. And those large coppers circulated for so long that even though the house might have been built in the 1870s, we often find 1700s coins, King George's, that were made 140 years before the house was built. That's not uncommon at all. So if I had to choose one, I would do the houses. Plus, like you, I love meeting the property owners. I love getting the tours of the walk-in hearths and the beehive ovens. And, I find that to be an exceptional, bonus.
And the root cellars like we saw the other day.
Oh, I went down there. The guy's like, be careful, be careful. I'm like, all right. I walked down that root cellar. It was musty and dirty and stinky and moist and cold. But man, it was cool. Super duper cool. Super duper cool. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So I would pick that. In the chat, it probably depends on where people live. If a lot of people in the chat, if you don't live in a colonial area, sure, I would understand. You'd want to do a colonial field. But because we kind of have both here, I'm not sure what to do. If someone offered me a Civil War battle site, we don't have those here. So that might go right to the top of the list because it's so unique to what we normally do. All right, here's another one. I'll start with Charley on this one, Doug. This one might be kind of fun. So Charley, of all the places that we've hunted or tried to hunt over the years, what was the sketchiest place that you've ever gone to, or maybe didn't even go to because it was so sketchy? Maybe abandoned building, the property owner was weird, like just something where you had a weird feeling in your belly. This place could be a disaster.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's the first time I ever detected with you. That was really sketchy.
That was more sketchy for us because we didn't know you.
That was a sketchy. Down in the woods, walking a path that had a 50-foot drop 2 feet away from the path down to a river, snow, ice. Doug was great that day. He handled things well. He little bit of scariness on his face there, but he made it pretty well down along that path.
Well, that's because I was with the Flying Walendas back in the day, and I was used to walking a tightrope over a open gorge. So
that was quite a day. That was the sketchiest and scariest place, really.
That was the walk in was really sketchy.
But we did very well down there, out in the middle of the woods there and stuff. It was crazy.
No, I agree. That was a sketchy one. Doug, how about you? We've done hundreds of houses probably over the last 8 or 9 years.
Jeez.
What was the sketchiest one that you've ever been to?
Well, I got to agree with Charley.
Look, there's even some comments to refresh your memory. Alan Cleveland reminding us of the squatter when we had the squatter in the basement.
Yeah, but we weren't detecting that. We were just staying there for an event. But that was a harrowing experience. Having you wanting to sleep with me because you were scared, that took a lot of courage. But I can't. I have to go with Charley with the sketchiest location because most other locations we're dealing with a property owner. They're there, but we had to hike to this place. It was snowy, icy. We had a gorge with a very deep creek right next to us. And what was funny, Charley says, "Oh, we'll get on my Kubota. I'll take you out there." We went about 100 yards over very nice terrain. And then he says, "Okay, we got to get out and walk." And get out and walk. It was very scary.
It reminded me of those. It reminded me of those goats, Doug, that live on the side of a mountain that walk, and like the eagles are dive bombing them, trying to knock them off. Like that was what we had to walk down.
Yeah.
So did you get caught in that fence once we got there?
Well, yeah, that was the ironic thing. I was going to say that I made it down through the most treacherous part of the journey and get to the fence and did my best face plant in the cow pies. So
yeah, Doug stepped over the barbed wire fence at the very end to get into the field, and his foot got caught on the top bar. Yeah, and Doug did like a 360 flip and landed right on his back in the middle of the field. I thought, oh man, that whole treacherous walk out here, and you're going to die when we get to the field.
But I survived and found a couple things. It was fun. It was a unique experience, to be sure.
Now, Rich, you haven't been doing it as long. but still, was there any spots that you felt were really sketchy? Or even a moment, maybe we were at a spot and you had a moment where, you could tell something could go terribly wrong.
Well, but a couple things come to mind since I've been with you guys, and that one place we went that was just straight up a dump. It was just one of the craziest places we've been.
Which one was that? I remember a couple of dumps.
No, it was like a literal dump. Like there was we were picking up marbles and
the place by the river.
Yeah. And we were invited there, and we didn't know. Like you couldn't really detect. It was
no. We put them down. We were just eyeballing stuff.
Yeah.
That place was interesting because what they did was the guy that owned that land got paid by the state or the river authority, where they would dredge the bottom of the river and lay it out on his farm field to dry. So it was like all this trash and junk that was in the river. And after it dried, after a month or 2 months, they would pick the soil back up, sift it, and buy the soil back from the guy. So the guy was getting paid for them to dump it there, paid again for them to take it back. But every time they would sift it, just every time they dredged, more and more junk was just on the surface that was on the bottom of the Delaware River. Right. So it was really cool in the sense that there was all sorts of interesting things laying right out on the surface, bottles and marbles and pieces of junk and bits and bobs, but impossible to detect. It really was like a dump.
I didn't realize you were with us then, Rich.
Yeah. Yep. And then the other crazy thing was when I stuck the shovel in the ground and got electrocuted.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't bad, I didn't fall over or anything, but it hurt for a second.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember the fine that you ultimately got was a classic head half-cent.
Yeah.
But you put the shovel in the ground and there must have been an electrical line nearby that I don't know if you hit it or just your shovel got close enough to it. And you told me, "Oh, I just got a jolt."
I don't know, but
so, all right, I could say that. That's definitely a scary one.
Yeah.
Lynn, have you had any sketchy moments since you've been going with us where something just didn't quite feel right?
No, I mean there was a couple of the property owners. I can't mention any names.
Okay, don't say any names because
And yeah, I think
I mean, I know a few weird ones we had, but
yeah,
that
can be kind of uncomfortable. But you just go with it because we've got permission to be there.
That's right.
But other than that, there wasn't really. I mean, that one Rich was talking about with the dump, that was kind of weird. But eyeballing stuff is always kind of fun. That's part of it anyway. So we didn't really mind.
I would go back to that place, believe it or not. I just wouldn't bring my mother.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
And then the couple of times that we ended up in the water, which was a new experience, and the rocks were slippery and.
I got a lot of video of fish that day.
Yeah. Well, I had your GoPro, and I took a lot of footage of crayfish.
Yeah, a lot of crayfish. There wasn't a ton. It was harder than we thought. Not knowing. Oh, Bethesda Ministries, DBA Chaplains for Change. Thank you very much for the super sticker. And Out West Metal Detecting. Hello to all you folks. Hello. Thank you guys very much. If anybody has an interesting, sketchy story that you want to put in the chat, I would love to hear an interesting one. I remember one or two, and I may have mentioned them before. Doug, if you remember the spot where I got attacked by the chicken.
Yeah.
Yes.
That woman that lived there was tricky. And I was like on eggshells the whole time because she had a short fuse.
Pardon the pun.
She was a little bipolar, and you try to run with it, but some people are difficult. Doug and I, the first time we hunted together, took me to a house that was literally being demoed the next day. There was garbage and trash everywhere. The house was falling over. There was piles of rubble. And kind of like our introduction to Charley, where we were like, what the heck is this guy doing? I kind of had the same thing with Doug. Where the heck are we? Like, this is like a landfill. That was a weird one. And the one where before I met you, Doug, when Kyle and I
knew you were going to check that out.
Two deaf people, that was so weird. We, not that they were deaf, even though trying to explain what we wanted was weird. But when the wife got home, she didn't want us there, so she started yelling at us. She actually picked up bricks and was throwing them at us. Get out of here! And we were like, what the hell? Like, that was weird. So we just hightailed it out of there. But I'd say 99% of the people are amazing, and we're pretty good friends with them to this day. Would you agree, Doug?
Yes. Yeah. Most of the permissions that we've gotten ended up being very good friends, and we even the ones from early on, we stay in touch with a lot of them, and every now and then we'll go back and hunt their properties again.
Yeah,
but
or invite them to the yearly barbecue we do.
Yeah, and I just had one call after like 18 months, and he cleaned out a portion of his lower yard and invited us to come over and see if we could find anything there. So, it's nice to build those kind of relationships. And I tell everybody, look, I feel like I'm making a new friend. And some of those are, going to be lifelong.
Yeah. All right, let me see. I got some other questions in here. This is a kind of a weird one. I'll start with Charley. So Charley, let's say that you were digging somewhere and you dug up like a time capsule that had a note inside that you could see, like a jar with a lid, and you could see the paper. What would you hope for was on that note for your best possible scenario? Could be battle plans, could be like a personal thing, like a lover, a lost letter to a soldier. What would you hope that's on there that would make that as historic for you as possible?
Some hidden treasure, like a little map or something, some hidden treasure. Like
more treasure. More treasure.
The Civil War, the lost gold, the lost Confederate gold, where it was at, some idea. Or up here, I'm not sure that gang. Doug, what's that gang that?
The Doan gang.
The Doan gang. They were up this way also, from what I understand. During the Revolutionary War, they were loyalists, I believe. I don't know a whole lot about them.
Yes,
they were loyalists. To find something like that, be intriguing. But something like that would be kind of cool.
All right, so you'd want a treasure map inside. That's fair. And these are your personal scenarios. Lynn, how about you? You dig up a jar. You can see a piece of paper. You open it up. It's a handwritten note. What are you hoping's on that note?
I was actually going to say the same thing that Charley did.
Like another treasure map.
Yeah, some kind of a X marks the spot or something where something was hidden or something along that order.
Okay,
right. I think the most exciting.
No wrong answers. No wrong answers. Rich, how about you? You find a jar with some writing. What are you hoping it says?
Well, if we're being honest, treasure map is just the coolest. That's the coolest thing it could be, probably. Okay. But for me, if it was just an old, and I don't know what it says, but an old note written in, the 1700s or 1600s or something, for any reason would be really neat.
No, I agree. I'll go next, then I'll save Doug for last. I found one of those jars with notes in it before, Doug. My witch jar, which had some crazy writing and the constellation and all sorts of stuff, which I thought was amazing. So I love that personal stuff. So as cool as a treasure map would be, I would love where like the note was some sort of correspondence, like maybe George Washington sent a letter to one of his generals of like where to meet up, and that got intercepted and buried, and you unearthed this jar, and it's like something from a historical figure, maybe to someone else, I think that would be just an incredible, that is the treasure map for me. I think that would be something I could have whatever I wanted it to be. Doug, how about you? What's in your jar, Doug?
What's that, Rich? Let Rich finish his thought.
Go ahead, Rich.
Oh, I was just saying that's pretty much just as cool as a treasure map. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Doug, what's in your jar?
Picture of a scantily clad woman with a piece of paper and her phone number.
Okay. Oh, she's still alive, or is she 112?
Yeah. No.
She's 200.
It's got to be 200 or better.
So yours is a new jar then, like a one buried
last week.
Yeah, plastic milk container.
All right, that's fair.
I figure I'll let the other guys find the treasure, and since we're all a group, we're going to split it anyway.
I'll go together anyway.
They can do all the work while I'm keeping busy.
All right. I'll go back to the same order. So what if we flipped it, Charlie, where if you were going to bury some sort of a jar for someone to hopefully find in 100 years, what would you put in it? Anything you want that fits in like a small mason jar, maybe something about you, something about the world, maybe just treasure, maybe a note. What would you put in that mystery time capsule, hoping a future generation would find?
I probably put in the things that I have, of course, now. I probably we find arrowheads here. I probably put in a couple of arrowheads. I'd probably put in, coins, obviously, photographs of the family, my family. Maybe I'm into pocket knives. I'd probably put a pocket knife in there. I'm into, the John Deere stuff. I used to be into John Deere, toys and knickknacks, anything with John Deere. I'd probably put in a feather. I like birds. I'm like you. I like birds.
Okay.
We have a lot of bluebirds here. Crazy stuff like that.
So just weird random junk.
Yeah, stuff that I like myself. And maybe they would know about me, maybe because of where I live. They say, oh, that's that guy who used to like the John Deere tractors, and he liked birds, and he liked to collect arrowheads and stuff. And they said, that makes a point of who I was at the time,
Toenail clippings, Alan Cleveland put in there, Charlie. Would you put any toenail clippings in?
Nah, maybe I would. I don't know. Maybe I would just to freak them out.
Lynn, how about you? What would you put in your jar that you want someone to find in the future and maybe have some little piece of Lynn in their minds?
I probably would sort of base it on the house that we live in now and tell a little history of the house and the years that we lived there. And, some of the things maybe that I had found in the yard here that are, 200 years old or more. And then also modern coins from the current years. You know how we all like to find the coins and, things that we like to find when we're out. So
that's cool.
I think just to make it, interesting, nothing terribly valuable, but just things that mean something to me or this house.
So you're hoping that they find the jar. You would bury the jar in your property then?
Yeah.
That way they at least know what you're talking about.
So, right. Exactly.
All right. Rich, how about you? What are you putting in your jar, Rich?
It would be fun. Well, now that I know, or I'm hearing anyway, that we're getting rid of the penny, it would be fun to fill a jar with pennies, all sorts of different pennies, wheat pennies, and I don't know, 200-year-old pennies.
Yeah.
And just for a future detectorist.
Okay. All right. How about you, Doug? Who did I get? I didn't get Doug yet. What's in your jar, Doug?
I can't believe Rich and I agree on that. That's exactly what I would do. I've got tons of duplicate wheat pennies and even Indians. I would fill the mason jar with that and bury it. So when some future detectorist finds it, he's going to get all excited until he finds out it's a bunch of repetitive dates on wheat pennies.
It's fun to put 2020s pennies in there, and then 1795 pennies in there, and see how confused they are.
Yep.
Yeah, people are saying, like, I guess everyone's like a jokester, putting in junk, like all sorts of garbage. Yeah, I would probably do something like that. I'd probably put some pictures in. I think I would probably draw some sort of map that would lead them to a treasure that's underwhelming. like I would lead them somewhere so they would have the adventure, but I'm not putting my good stuff in there. Like I'll lead them to somewhere interesting, because that's what I'd like to find. Like you said, a treasure map. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
So I thought that would be kind of interesting. So here's one that I've gotten from a viewer before, and I don't remember who it was. I just remember the question. That's not the right one. Where is it? Oh, here. Oh, this isn't the right one, but I'll give it to you, Doug, because I know Doug loves monetary treasures when he can find them. Doug, let's say a viewer wrote you and said, "Hey, Doug, I'm going to give you $10,000, but I don't want you detecting or see you in a video for at least a year." Would you do it?
$10,000?
Yeah.
Not enough money.
So you wouldn't do it. That's not enough for you.
No, I could go find an old coin that was worth that.
That's unlikely.
Well, I know it's unlikely, but with the cost of everything these days, $10,000 would be gone in 2 weeks, and there I got to wait another 50 weeks to go back with my friends. So,
how much money would it take, Doug? How much money if they said,
there is a number, but I'm not going to divulge it here.
Okay, not going to divulge it.
So if anybody wants me to leave the channel, just throw out a bid, and I'll tell you if you hit it.
Charlie, how about you? Someone says, Charlie, $10,000. You can't pick up a detector, and I don't want to see you in anybody's videos for 1 year.
At my age, take the money.
He's taking the money.
Take the money.
Wow. So you would just sit in your house and stare at the wall for a year, but you'd have $10,000 to play with.
If he survives that long.
All right. That's fair. Hey, there's no wrong answers. How about in the chat before I go to Rich and Lynn? Somebody offers you guys $10,000. You can't detect for a year, and you can't be in any videos about detecting or anything to do with detecting. You got to take a year away. Is $10,000 enough? Lynn, how about you? 10 grand. I don't want to see or hear from you.
No, I don't think I would do it because I haven't been detecting that long, and I have a lot of time to make up for.
Okay, that's fair.
So
yeah,
I
it's
think
not life-changing money, but it's enough that at least you might consider it.
I mean, I enjoy it too much to give it up for a year if I don't have to.
I agree. Let me see. Team Lynch in the house. Not a chance. You can keep your $10,000. No big deal. Mud Swat thinks he's going to get that $10,000 diamond ring, and you very well may. Adrian Tucker's like, heck with that. I'm taking the money. He's like Charlie. Gary,
I'd go fish. I'd just go fishing.
Money. What's that, Charlie?
I'd go fishing with the $10,000.
Hey, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Justin S says 10,000 ain't nothing. I'm not saying it's life-changing, but
No, it sure isn't.
Great Finds is here. Definitely. Wow, Great Finds. I'm surprised. You're taking the 10 grand you can't detect for a year. I'm surprised. How about you, Rich? 10 grand. I don't want to hear or see you for a year.
No, it's not enough, like Doug said.
All right. So you're going to also, you're denying the 10 grand. I would deny it also.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anybody would actually do that, but
you know what, Jason? You're all still young yet, but seriously, when you get to be an old man like me, you think differently about things. You really do.
Well, I agree with you, but I also think as you get older, how much money is enough money, but wouldn't you rather spend every minute with your family and friends? Like that's what life really is. It's not about how much is in your bank account when you die, to me. But there's no wrong answers.
Right.
There's no wrong answers. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking the money. How about I'll bring up another one talking about money, which is this is always an interesting topic. Now I know, Charlie, over the years you've sold a couple of things that you found. I haven't, and I don't think there's right or wrong to it. I think I get it.
I sold two things since
Would
I've been
you
detecting.
sell whatever you consider to be the greatest thing you've ever found? And everyone has their own, whatever you think it is. Would you sell what you think is the greatest thing? Would you sell that for, whatever prices you think is a crazy price? Let's say $20,000, but they want the best thing you've ever found in your heart. Would you get rid of it?
You asking me first?
Yeah, you first. You're on the big screen.
Probably not. I probably not, to be honest with you.
For 20 grand.
I'm very happy with that. I only ever sold two things, and they were like smashed. Those two things were damaged, but I had, they were gold. To be honest, they were both gold, and I sold those two things. They were smashed, but no, I don't know. I know I just said I'd take the money, 10,000 earlier, but I'd probably go on a big fishing trip and stuff like that. But I don't know. I have something in my possession now that I'm keeping that's valuable.
But you weren't offered 20 grand for it. Team Lynch would give it away quicker than Barb is here. Barb Dirt Pyre Connell. She would do it. 20 grand. Heck yeah, you could have the coolest thing I ever found. Rich, how about you? Your best thing you've ever found?
I don't know. It would depend on what the best thing I've found is.
Well, you think in your head, the thing that you love the most.
If it's something I really don't care about, if it is like a golden diamond ring, I don't really. It doesn't do much for me. I would definitely sell it.
Whatever you think is your best find, whatever find you love the most. I don't care what it is, but
that I've actually found.
Your favorite thing, the thing that you dug out of the ground that you hold the dearest for whatever reason, would you sell it?
I don't know. I'd probably not.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't sell it at all.
I don't think so.
Doug, how about you? Whatever you think is your best find ever, would you sell it?
With all the very cool things I've found, there isn't anything I found that I'd want to get rid of. So
now 20 grand for your best thing, you're selling them? No way.
Yeah. No. If I could get a couple 100,000 for a coin, yeah, I'll sell it. But I doubt that'll ever happen, and I really like the things I found. So,
all right, so 20 grand is not enough.
I'll leave them to my kids or my wife, and if they want to sell them, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same way, Doug.
Yeah.
Lynn, now you haven't been doing it as long, but but you've been arrowhead hunting, and you've found things, in unexpected places. Whatever you think is the coolest thing you found, would you sell it? Is there a price? Or is it so dear to you that you get more enjoyment from just looking at it every once in a while?
I probably would, because I haven't found that much so far. I mean, what I have found, and it's not all that much stuff. So to this point, I could part with any of those things. I mean, they mean a lot to me because it was fun, but
not that fun.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to letting any of that go.
All right. In the chat, my digging friends out there, your favorite find you've ever found, whatever it is, would you sell it? 20 grand. I don't care what it is. I mean, maybe it's worth more than 20 grand. So then you're obviously not going to, but like I try to think of some of my favorite finds ever, my silver cob, my witch jar. There's been some really cool things, but I don't know. If someone offered me 20 grand for my cob, which is probably only worth $100, I think I'm telling them no. I enjoy looking at it, even though it might not be a good choice, from my accountant's point of view. But I think I can do it.
Jason, I know someone who found a pine tree shilling that was in excellent shape. and they had it for a while, and they sold it for a good price. Then after a while, they were sorry they sold it.
Yeah. No.
Now, if I found a bag full of cobs, hey, I'll sell some of them.
Well, it's not as special anymore. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But one, I'm keeping it. It's too unique, and I may never get to find another one, so I'll hold on to it.
No, I agree. It's one of those weird things. And look, I'm not judging. I know a lot of people that got into detecting just for the reason to find things and sell them. I got no issue with that. That's awesome, because I think whoever buys it obviously is going to really appreciate it, or they wouldn't spend their money on it. So it's going to the best possible home. For me personally, I can't do it.
Make yourself do that.
Yeah, I can't do it, but I got no issue with someone else doing it.
Yeah.
So there we go. Here's one. I'll start with Rich on this one since he's a little bit newer. Rich, what's the worst mistake you've ever made in detecting? Something that you really regret?
Joining this group.
Worst mistake.
Besides hitting all the coins every week.
That did cross my mind, but I don't know. Have I made any big mistakes?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me. Or if you could go back to the day one of your detecting, like, would you do anything different? Because now you're like, oh, I should have did this differently. Or you maybe you have nothing. I don't know. Maybe you have nothing.
I can't think of anything, to be honest.
Rich is perfect, Doug.
I mean, yeah, I guess pinpointing so I don't keep putting my shovel through things. But
okay.
Especially electrical lines.
Yeah, like electrical lines. Yeah, we should all take CPR lessons from just in case. Charlie, how about you? Any learning experiences that if you could go
definitely
back?
Regret. Years ago, I used to do a lot of hunting and fishing and all that stuff. I would keep a journal of that day, the date, the weather, what I caught, so forth, who was with me. I wish I would start from day one, keep a journal of that day, the weather, who was with me, and my finds. I'm just sorry I never did that there, because so much has happened in my lifetime detecting that I wish I could go back through the journal and see who was with me during that period of time and what I found, so forth. So just keep track of everything that I accomplished in the years of detecting.
Now, is that because you want to sell it as a book?
Yeah, maybe.
The Life and Times of Charley the Hermit Color.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. I like that. So you would have liked to have kept a detailed record of your
who was with me, what I found, the day, the weather, all that throughout the years. Yeah.
Here's one, Charlie. Do you regret? This is from Grim77. Do you regret getting too close to that lady's property line that blasted the Baby Shark song at you?
Actually, that was entertaining to me.
Kudos to Grim77 for remembering that. That's pretty good.
Crazy people. That's entertaining to me.
Yeah. Where am I? I'm up to Lynn. I don't remember the question. Any mistakes, any regrets, anything you would do different? You haven't been doing it as long, Lynn, but
no. Well, that's one of them. I regret that I couldn't have started detecting earlier.
Yeah. For 3 years we tried to tell you to do it.
Yeah, but it's like, for those who don't know, I had Lyme disease 5 times and a lot of joint pain and wasn't able to really hold a detector for more than a minute and a half. And things are better now, and there's no going back. So I do regret, but that could not be helped. And I'm still learning, every single day that we go out there about the signals and the machine, and I still dig probably things I shouldn't dig, but.
All right, that's fair. Hey, sometimes those things you shouldn't dig turn out to be
some
cool things. So, Doug, any regrets, Doug?
Nah, no regrets. Not in the metal detecting realm. I got a lot in life but I won't burden everybody with those.
Thank God. Thank God.
No, I've enjoyed being a metal detectorist for quite a while. I enjoyed the fishing I did for a long, long time, and I wish I could do more of it. But I'm glad I have metal detecting, because when the weather's too bad to fish, we can get out there and metal detect. It might be a little sloppier, but at least we can metal detect and accomplish something.
All right, Doug, I'm gonna. This is a fun one that I when I saw this one, I was like, "Ooh, I want to ask everybody because I'm curious, especially for us because we detected a big group." So, what makes for you, Doug? What makes a good detecting partner, and what makes a bad one? Oh, this should be good.
I got a lot of bad ones.
Now, you don't give me names, just like
No,
characteristics.
no. I know better than that.
Characteristics.
Look, we mandate that whoever we detect with, whether it's 4 or 3 or 2 of us or 15 of us, you play by the rules. One or another of us has put our necks on the line with a property owner that we're going to do the right thing. So everybody has to obey the rules. Remove your trash, fill in your holes, and where as possible it's possible, cut a clean plug and close the plug and make it nice. And if you don't do that, I mean, not only does it reflect on the person that got the permission, but it reflects on everybody that's in that group, and maybe even future detectorists who might come and knock on that door and ask for permission. So just play by the rules, do things the right way, and just help everybody enjoy the experience. And I'm happy with that. But otherwise, I don't want you to. I don't want to hunt with you. Sorry.
Right, that's fair. How about Charley, who's hunted with a lot of people over the years? You don't have to give names, Charley, but to you, what makes a good hunting partner and what makes a bad hunting partner?
Well, yeah, you're right. A lot of people have detected with me where I live. I live in an area that's very rich. A bad one is when they go back to where we've been without letting me know about it.
That's my number one. That's my
Yeah,
number one.
That's
a friendship
gotten me.
killer.
That has, yeah. I get the phone call. Hey, I don't mind. You guys were here last week. I gave you permission. What's this guy doing here today? That really hurts me a lot, and that has happened a few times. They go back. That hurts. A good person, of course. We just, we meet in the morning. We hang out all day. We take naps together.
No, we don't, Charley. You're the only napper.
That's just a joke.
Doug, he's dreaming we're there with him.
I know.
I take, hey guys, I need that nap. I do.
Hey, you kick butt after that nap.
But no, just to hang out together and have fun. And at the end of the day, we show our finds and we move on and we reach out again some other time and go back again. But I don't really like someone going back without letting me know and doing that. Yeah,
I'm with you.
And also using my name sometimes.
Yeah, that's even
to
worse.
get on.
Oh, look, Team Lynch. Thank you for the super chat, Team Lynch. Team Lynch liked their detecting partner so much they married each other.
There you go.
Doug's still waiting for me to propose. I'm not doing it. But marital bliss there from Team Lynch, and thank you very much. That's the ultimate. The ultimate partner.
Yeah.
Rich, how about you? For you, what makes a good partner? What makes a bad partner?
I love in our group how everybody's excited for one another when we find cool things, and we're very very encouraging and all that, and some people get jealous, especially, if it's their permission or something, and then they think they should have found it. But it's just, I walked in this party yard, the yard instead of them. It's just the luck of it. So I love that about our group.
Yeah.
And a bad detector would be everything that Doug and Charley already said. Leaving trash and just stuff it's so easy to do. I can't believe the laziness of some people out there.
Yeah, when you swing over a good signal and you look down and you see it's a cut plug, and you flip it over hoping they miss something, and you see a can laying right there, that sucks.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with that person ever again? Because you're going to dig the same hole 97 times because they didn't pick the gosh darn piece of garbage up and put it in their bag. That is a pet peeve. I agree. That's no fun. Lynn, how about you? You're, like I said, you're still new, so you haven't had a lot of detecting partners other than us. But if someone else invited you, what qualities are you looking for a good partner, and what are you staying away from a bad detecting partner?
Well, in addition to what everybody else said, I think just being a team player is really, really important. Sometimes you go to a place and you have a bad day, or if you don't find something right away, you want to leave. No, you stick it out, and because the next hole could be the thing that you find. So really just being happy for everybody, like Rich said, being excited for everybody else's finds. We've all had great days. We've all had bad days. So it's going to happen. So, just kind of going along with everything, being a team player.
Now, I agree. I mean, everything you guys said, to elaborate a little bit, I think to me, a good partner is someone that you look forward to spending the day with. I don't care how good of a detectorist you are. You could be the greatest detectorist ever, and you could go to the moon and find 23 diamond rings. I don't care. I want to be able to laugh with the person. I want to be able to enjoy their company. I want to be excited for when they find something, and I'd like them to be excited when I find something that just makes the day enjoyable with that person. And I've had bad ones and I've had good ones. I've had jealous ones, which is obviously no fun, and ones that were truly happy when I found something, and they're the best ones. So I love, just the camaraderie of a good friend there with you. That's what I have here, is just good people that you just enjoy the day with. So that's number one. The bad ones. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're trash, the ethics of the hobby, be kind to the property owners, be respectful. Don't flick your cigarette butts on their lawn. Obvious things, these are strangers to us. So Coin Sniper. Sniper. I haven't seen that name in a long time. Keep it up, brother. Love your channel, and I always wish I would have stuck to it. Yeah. Coin Sniper had a YouTube channel. Holy cow. I don't even know, 7 years ago. And, I was watching this stuff. He was watching mine. Life gets in the way sometimes. Other hobbies, other things come up. So, hey, I'll have to take a look and see if you're back again. But thanks for being here, and thanks for the super chat. But yeah, it's just basically common sense things. What Charley said, going back to your buddy's property, that's a friendship killer, man. That's like dating someone else's ex-girlfriend. Like, you don't do it. It's not even a detecting.
You don't even have to ask. Just don't do it.
It's not even a metal detecting thing. It's just a decency.
Ethical.
Somebody invites you anywhere like that, you don't, if they invite you fishing, you don't go back to their fishing hole without them. You just don't do it. Friendship killer for me instantly, because when you do that, I instantly think, well, you have no respect for me whatsoever. So I don't even
no ethics.
Yeah, I don't. You're not. I don't want to hang out with you. So yeah, use common sense. But if you enjoy someone, you're going to know it. You're going to have a good time with them. and how good of a detectorist you are doesn't matter to me whatsoever. Everyone's going to find good stuff if you're out there long enough. But I'd rather be with someone that I can enjoy the day with than, be amazed by your incredible detecting prowess. Not that Doug has any of that. All right, so I'll get off of that one. How about this one, Doug? Here's an interesting one. I'll go with Charley first, only because I hit that button. Unexpected finds, Charley. Have you ever found something that you didn't think it was anything, but then later you realized, wow, this is really cool. But in the moment, you didn't realize it.
Well, I was with you when this occurred. I found this big. I didn't even know it was a coin. It was, very large, and I cleaned it up, and I thought it was like a token or something. And then as time went on, I cleaned it up real good, and here it was, a silver coin. It was from the French Huguenots, and my wife, that her family were French. And I found it, near her family farm. That was really cool to find out. I was totally surprised. And I researched it, and it was called a Dodler, and it was silver. And it's from 1630.
Now, I wasn't with you the day you found it, so I don't remember exactly. In the field, you just thought it was a modern token?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not till later you realize not only...
I cleaned it up, yeah. And it was from 1630. And that's when they settled in that valley. They settled there about 1670, I think. So it was an older coin, but still, it was a surprise that came from over there, in France there.
Yeah, it was your oldest coin ever before your Roman coin, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. Yes, it was. Yeah.
No, that's cool. How about you, Doug? I'll go you because you've been detecting longer than Lynn and Rich. Have you ever had something unexpected? You dug it up, maybe you threw it in your bag, didn't think about it, and then later you realized, holy cow, this thing's really cool.
No, everything I found, I wanted to identify it right away. And there have been things that, who knows, maybe I tried to clean them and couldn't get them to the point where they were identifiable, and yet maybe they were something unique or different, but nothing that I couldn't clean up right away and identify right away. I guess the neatest thing was the cob, but I was almost anticipating that because only the week before you had found yours, so I thought, okay, there's got to be one in here for me. And sure enough, there was. But nothing that ever just got tossed in the bag and then maybe cleaned up later. Because I want to know just as quickly as possible what I found there. And we pretty much, as a group, go to great lengths to determine what something is. It's rare for when we're out as a group to find something that by the time we leave that field, we haven't figured out what it was.
Well, Doug, I remember one time, I think I read it here, you found what you thought was a quarter.
Oh, well, you were with me, Charley.
What?
You were with me.
Yes.
And I carried that around because it was kind of cloudy and I got it closer to the end of the day and it was dirty and I just tossed it in the bag. I figured, and it was right up along the road, although it was by a 200-year-old tree. I threw it in the bag and then I'm going through the bag and I think I may have asked you, Charley, can you see anything that is...
That was a mistake.
Yeah. Well, then we moved on to Matt and Rich, and they identified it as a large cent, or no,
it was a half cent.
Yeah,
I think it was
something half cent.
That was funny.
But there again, we found out before we left the field.
Yeah, before we left. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that day, Doug, where you had it in your hand all day. And I think there was I forget the story exactly, but you had two coins You handed me one, and you said, "Oh, I think
I
this
thought
is
it was silver.
You said, "I think it's a modern quarter," and it turned out it was like a drape bust half cent.
Yeah.
And then you had one that you thought was a silver quarter you handed me, and it was like a clad quarter.
Yeah.
So like you screwed up the good find, and you messed up
Yeah.
the bad find.
And that's what I get for not bringing my glasses with me. So.
You never bring your glasses. I don't know why you don't bring them.
I know.
I just saw Ken King, Adventures in Dirt. Ken King, how are you, sir?
Hey, Ken.
Good to see you come in here. I'm going to go next, Doug, only because I just thought of one while I was asking you the story.
Okay.
But many years ago, 7 years ago or so, we were doing this house, and for some reason, the copper coins, and when I say copper coins, they were the normal penny size, not large coppers. They all had like this like irony corrodedness to them. And I found a couple of them that I could see through it, and they were wheat pennies. And some of them I couldn't see through. So in the video, I just chalked it up. Oh, it's got to be another wheat penny. Like, what else could it be? It wasn't thick. It was just a penny size. And when I got home, I threw them all in a tumbler because I just wanted to clean them up a little bit. And one of them turned out to be this pretty rare Civil War Sutler's token that had a cannon on one side and a stack of cannonballs. And the other side said Army and Navy. And, you know, if I found that today, it might just go right in my, junk penny mason jar, and I may never think about it again. So I got lucky that I got something interesting out of that normally I might not.
I was with you when you found that. I know exactly.
Yeah, you were there.
It was on the street that Rich lived on for a while.
I know exactly where it was. And but I remember the find, and I don't even remember digging it necessarily because I dug a lot of small pennies that day.
It looked just like another penny.
Yeah. But when I cleaned it up, I was like, son of a gun, like this is a great find. And I don't even remember the dig necessarily because I didn't realize what it was.
It was 1863.
Yeah, I remember. That was the year. I didn't know you then.
Yeah.
Rich, how about you? Any surprises, Rich? I can think of one if you can't, of yours.
I'm not remembering anything right now that I cleaned up later on. But I was very surprised when I found that cartwheel penny because I didn't even know they existed before then, so I didn't know what it was. And it's just a cute, they're so big that I thought it was just going to be, I don't know, either a token or nothing. Like,
yeah, I remember when you called me over for that. It was, I mean, if you've never seen a cartwheel penny, and that was the first one I've ever seen in person. I mean, it's massive.
That thing is huge.
Yeah,
that manhole cover.
It puts a Morgan dollar to shame as far as size goes.
Yeah.
So when Rich showed me that, like he was totally perplexed, and I had a thought that it could be one, but you know how rare that is to find in America, a cartwheel. They only made them 1 year. They didn't make a lot of them, and how the heck did that get over here? It was kind of after we were already our own country, so it wasn't like finding the KG2s and 3s where that was the money of the land. By that point, we had our own money.
Yeah.
So that was a really weird one. But I can't fault you for not knowing in the field because you didn't even know what it was when I told you what it was.
Yeah. But that particular field really offered a variety of unique finds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to go down as the best. And we've had some very good locations that had, for diversity and quality, I mean, was the best.
I think that year, Doug, which it might have been 2 years ago now, I think 6 or 7 of the top 10 finds from the end of the year video were all from that field.
Yep.
That's how amazing it was. But Lynn, how about you? I mean, you haven't been detecting that long, so it's unlikely.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me yet. In fact, probably just the opposite. I've had a couple of things that I thought I would clean up when I got home, and maybe they would be something, and they turned out to be even worse than what I thought.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, do like I do. Leave them dirty.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Make believe.
My experience so far, or I guess maybe that when I found the trime, it was kind of like that because we knew what it was in the field. But at first I didn't because I was looking for a button so that you would round out you had 19 buttons. I was trying for 20.
Yeah.
And was really surprised, to get that when I thought maybe it was a button at first.
I remember that. Yep. All right. Well, that's good. Here's one. I'll start with Charley because I remember one from Charley like it was yesterday. What was your most memorable false alarm, Charley, where you confidently thought you had something amazing and then everyone comes over and then it turns out it was garbage?
That 8 Riel.
Oh, that wasn't even my thought, but you're right. The Bub Ritchie.
I called you guys over. I thought I had an 8 Riel, but it was one of his Lucky Charm things, whatever you call it.
I remember that. Charley actually said a profanity, which he never does. I had to edit out of the video because he was so like mad that his 8 Riel turned into a piece of.
Well, we just got done finding 2 Riels. Doug found a Riel. I found a half Riel. I think Doug found one also. Half Riel.
He found a 1, I think.
Was it 1? But we just got done finding 2 Riels, and about 10 feet away, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this looks like this could be an 8 Riel," but it was that Lucky Charm thing.
I remember.
Hold you over.
There was one I was going to think of too, but you're right, that one.
I know which one you're going to say.
Well, I mean, maybe not, but we were at a spot. I mean, Charley got this field that was massive. And it just got done, like a big storm rolled in a day or two before. So in between, Charley was on one side, I'm on the other. And in the middle was like this puddle that must have been 3 football fields long and a football field wide. So, of course, somehow Charley ends up on one side, I'm on the other. And Charley yells out, "I got a Riel." So I'm like, oh, man, how am I going to get over there? So I had to walk all the way around. It must have taken me a half an hour to walk around this puddle, walk all the way around. I probably get within 10 feet of him, and then I hear him say, no, it's just a bottle cap. And I was like, what the heck, Charley? Do you remember that, Charley?
Yes, I do.
So I remember that. It might have been a modern quarter. Well, whatever. It happened. It was funny. I remember that. But your Bob Ritchie, that's a good one too.
Yeah, that's why we have the rule now that nobody goes off a great distance. Yeah. Stay with the group.
Try to stay together.
We'll all go to the other end of the field together, and that way we don't have to traverse unnecessarily.
Yeah. Doug, how about you? Your most memorable false alarm?
Oh, geez. I've had so many.
You have a lot.
So many pieces of aluminum that turned out to be, I thought they were silver and they turned out to be aluminum. Although I can remember not long ago, we were doing a house that was very nice to all of us. And I found what I thought was another bottle cap.
And Ray Diggs, Rachel, thank you for the super chat. Great streaming question.
Yay.
See you next week. I didn't see her come in. I'm trying to watch, but thank you, Rachel, for popping in. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off.
You cleaned it off and said, you got a piece of sterling here. Turned out to be a cap to a cane, a sterling cap. I mean, it was big. It was that big, and I just thought, oh crap! I trudged into the bushes for this and threw it in the bag and was taking things out of the bag and started to clean it off. And I said, "What do you think this is?" You clean it up. You said, "Well, it says sterling right on the top there." So
yeah, you got to start wearing your reading glasses.
Yeah.
Mine for you, Doug, was I remember several years ago we were in Salem, New Jersey. We were doing right next to where there was a documented Revolutionary War skirmish. Charley, I think you were there. It was before we even knew Rich. Yeah. And we were all together, right where the battle happened. And we were finding some okay stuff. Turns out another group got there a few years before us and got the bulk of it. We didn't know at the time.
Yep.
But Doug, for whatever reason, walks off, and he goes all the way out to the road again, a quarter mile away.
Yeah.
And he calls me on the phone, and he says, "I got a large copper. I'm going to leave it in dirty. Come on over." And I'm like, "All right." And I look, and he's like this big because he's so far. So I'm like, "All right, I'm going to leave the hot spot and go walk all the way over to Doug." And same thing. I get all the way over. I pick it up, and it wasn't even like something close. It was like an iron washer, like it was heavy and rusty and bumpy. And like as soon as I picked it up, I was like, "What the heck, Doug?"
You wanted to throw it at me.
So, but like we've all gotten fooled from that.
Yeah.
I've gotten fooled several times over the years with those Sunoco car tokens because they sound good in the ground. They look like a silver quarter. And, when we find something good, we don't want to clean it. We kind of cover it and wait for the group to come over because we celebrate the good finds together.
All get excited together.
So when you see that it looks like a quarter, the size is a quarter, it's silver like a quarter, it's 9 inches deep, the last thing you're thinking is a Sunoco aluminum token. And I've gotten fooled by it, 4 or 5 times over the year. That stinks like butts, Doug.
I had an experience not long ago, and if Matt is watching and if Chris is watching from Florida, we were at Rogers together and doing a location that I know you don't like to go to anymore. And we found some nice items, and I dig a hole that I was getting this very faint 52, 53 on the legend, and I dig like 12, 13 inches down, and I see this big, round, shiny thing. And I just left it, right? It was like right at the end of my shovel. And I called to Matt, and Matt comes over, and I called to Chris, and he comes over. I'm going to share this experience of another 8 real with these guys. And it turned out to be some big piece of plastic with Spanish. I mean, it was made to look like a real, but it was big, like an 8 real, and had Charles III on there. And I pick it up, and it's so light, and I'm thinking, how did a piece of aluminum, that's made to look like an 8 real get buried so deep in the ground?
Yep.
I actually put it on the dog tag Doug page just to show that, hey, these kind of things are disappointing to all of us.
Yeah, they happen. Hey, Rich, how about you? Let me bring you in here. Do you have a most memorable false alarm?
There was one in particular, like Charlie said, those big silver-looking lucky tokens.
Mm-hmm.
I found one. It was in the sidewall. It looked like big silver. I could just see, a reeded edge. And so I called you over, and more excitedly than normal. And then it was just one of those tokens.
I remember it. It was at that mill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as I recall, at least your good luck token, the ones you'd make at the boardwalk that, you'd punch it in, at least yours had a name on it, a person's name. And when we looked her up, she used to live at the house like 110 years ago. So at least that was kind of cool.
Interesting, but not a big real or $50 or.
Yeah, no, I get it. Now, Lynn's been new, so I'm not going to ask her the most memorable false alarm because she hasn't had many of them yet. But I'll start with the next question for Lynn. Let me see here. Oh, I got this one already. Here it is, Lynn. This is a fun one because I've been known to have a few of them, and I even see a few things in the chat about it. Metal detecting superstitions, Lynn. Now, we all have superstitions. I've got many of them, Charlie has, I know, a couple. Lynn, do you have any superstitions when it comes to detecting or maybe anything even like leaving the house? Do you have to turn the light switch up and down twice? Do you have to like, anything that one of those subconscious things that you just feel the need to do that someone else might think is ridiculous?
Not so much yet. I don't even know if I would consider like my lucky hat or anything, because I've found good stuff with it on, but I've also found no stuff with it on. So it's too early, I guess, for me to have developed anything like that. I don't put a banana in the hole or anything like that. Yep. So I'll wait for one to surface one of these days.
You don't have one yet. Okay.
No.
And this is a fun one where anybody in the chat, I'm going to keep an eye out. If anybody has a superstition when it comes to metal detecting, something that you do, I'd like to see it, because I've seen a couple of weird ones. I'll go to Charley next, because Charley had one happen recently. If you don't remember, I'll remind you. But do you have any superstitions, Charley?
Well, I don't know what you'd call this, but I don't like to find anything good early.
That's the one.
Yeah. Is that when I find something good early, rest of the day is like a downhill. It's just weird.
Yeah, especially if you find the first thing of the day, the first really good thing of the day.
Yeah, that just happened.
Like an instant cliff after that.
Yeah, it just happened. 3-4 weeks ago, whatever.
I remember.
And I didn't do well the rest of the day. And you were so excited for me. And I was excited for myself.
Yeah.
But after that, I kind of knew that, I probably won't do well the rest of the day. And I did not do well the rest of the day.
Yeah. I thought about that actually, Charley, because at the next spot we went to, I found something good really early, and I just left it there waiting to find something mediocre before I went over and filmed it. Because I also get superstitious about finding that first really good, like, if your first thing of the day is something that is like a crescendo piece, you're cursed.
Well, I found
something else first.
Yeah. Well, I found that a couple weeks back at that first good find, first hole, I think it was, first or second hole.
It was the very first hole of the whole day.
And then what I did was I gave the good luck to you two guys, you and Doug.
You did.
Because you guys really did very well.
Yeah. Oh, look!
I stood there and watched you guys.
Here's a good one, Charley, from Who's Your Metal Detecting. So, if you find something good first, Charley, find it, then go take your nap.
Yeah.
They will cancel out. They'll cancel out.
Yeah, it's really weird. And you guys have seen this already. When I do that, when I take that midday break, I come back and I tend to do pretty good. It's weird.
So would you consider that a superstition where at this point,
yes,
even if you're not tired, will you go take that nap just thinking that when you come back, your luck will change?
It seems to be working well.
Yeah.
I think I'll continue it.
I like it. It does work for you. I like it.
I think I'll continue it.
Doug, how about you? Any good luck things or something superstition you do to kind of hedge a better day out of yourself?
No, I one time I found, and it was on one of Charley's. Actually, Charley and I split that permission. I'm going to have to take credit for some of that. But while we were in the field, I found a 4-leaf clover, a metal 4-leaf clover.
Oh, I remember.
I carried it with me for the longest time.
I remember that, Doug.
And do you remember what I found that day?
I cannot. Oh, yeah. At the end of the day.
No, it was about middle of the day.
Was it the 2 real?
Yes.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I kept that metal 4-leaf clover in my finds container. And, I kind of went on a cold spell. So I chucked it. And I've been doing good ever since.
It's funny you say that, because at a field we were at not long ago, there was clover all over the ground.
And
And Lynn must have picked up like 6 4-leaf clovers and brought them over.
She was handing them out to everybody.
Yeah. And we're thinking, oh man, it's going to be so much luck. Yeah. But Lynn didn't find anything. And later in the day, she's like, I'll never pick another 4-leaf clover.
No, they don't work.
So yeah, they stopped working for her.
Yeah.
How about
That
you,
was
Rich?
funny.
Any superstitions, Rich? Anything you do subconsciously to give yourself a better psychological edge?
Well, not really superstitions, but I guess anymore I try not to get overly excited about somewhere.
That's another one.
It
Yeah.
seems like every time, you
That's
look at
Jason.
this great field and you're saying to yourself, oh, there's got to be
Yeah.
loads of stuff in there. More often than not, there's nothing at all.
Yeah. When we get a spot that we're going to the next day and you're thinking about it, it's never been hunted, it's from 17, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can't help but get so stoked. And you there?
We're all here.
Yeah.
Oh, my whole chat disappeared over on the right. But yeah, you get so stoked and you're thinking, oh man, we're going to kill it tomorrow. It's going to be the greatest. And then it's always underwhelming. So I make it a point. I don't care where we're going. I don't care if Doug says, yeah, we're digging the backyard for Bob Fort Knox's house. I don't get excited. I always tell Doug, well, let's hope we get enough for a video. Because if I get my hopes up, son of a gun, we're going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there, Doug.
Yeah. And Rich.
I have
Whoa!
Wow, Coin Sniper, what the heck? I'm doing well in life from 1 to 4 to keep it. Wow, what are you doing well in life, Coin Sniper? Send us your secret. You must
What you do? Hit the lottery or what?
Yeah, Coin Sniper, thank you, man.
Hey, do you want to come hunt with us?
You might be sniping some really good coins, Doug.
There you go.
Yeah, well, geez, thank you. I'm probably the most superstitious of all of us, Doug. You know, I did my banana thing for years.
Yeah, and there's still tons of people that want the banana brought back.
I know, because I tried to let it go because I didn't want to have another superstition. The night before, like Rich said, I try not to think about it too much. The glasses of shame, the gag started to run its course. I still wear them. Now they're more traditional colors, but I still have like some weird ones and some colorful ones. I mean, I still keep them, but the gag only can go on for so far.
We've upped the numbers on them now. The strengths.
The strengths keep going up. It's hard to stay on top of the glasses of shame.
Yeah.
They just keep getting.
Now they're glasses of necessity.
Yeah. But listen, it's getting late, Doug. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll call it a day.
Okay.
I do want to say next week we have a guest on, and it's the first guest ever that Dougie got. So I'm excited. Doug, you want to tell the people about the guest before we go to the last couple of questions?
Real quick, a lot of people may have heard about him. He's got a YouTube and Facebook presence. Is Terry Carter. I kind of enjoy his snippets. He's usually relating stories from other treasure hunters that have found or are on the trail of something unique, mostly out in the the Utah Rockies area. I know Ken, if he's listening, he's probably heard of him. But Terry Carter is going to be on, and we're looking forward to picking his brain and seeing what he's accomplished in the treasure hunting realm.
Yeah, should be a good guest. That'll be next week. Terry Carter. I just reached out to Heath Jones, History Seekers, a good friend of mine. He's going to be coming on in 3 weeks. Travels around the country, not only detecting, but he's a detecting dealer. Be fun to hear the behind the scenes of what goes into being a detecting dealer, lugging all your equipment across the country, setting up shop, hunting in unfamiliar areas. And like I said, that should be a lot of fun. He's a good friend of mine. So Heath Jones will be coming on, History Seekers. Make sure you check that out also in a couple of weeks. But we're going to end with 2 more questions, Doug. I might lead this one because I don't know if it's happened to anybody else. And correct me if I'm wrong, at least anyone else in our group. But the question was, and this came from a viewer, with so many places you guys hunt, have you ever gotten kicked off of a property? And I put myself up there because it's happened to me maybe 2 or 3 times. But the funniest one, which is a story I may have told before, I love it, is I was detecting this house, Victorian house, before I even knew Doug. And I was doing pretty well. I was finding a lot of stuff. The wife came home. I got permission from the husband. The wife comes home, sees me out there, doesn't like it. And I could tell when she pulled up, I waved, hey, how you doing? Like, I just saw that look on her face, like, uh-oh. She goes inside, and not a minute later, the husband walks out, like with his tail between his legs. I knew it was coming. So he's like, look, my wife doesn't want you here, yada, 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 you got to go. But now the weird part is, Doug, like 10 minutes before that, I was starving. So I called and ordered a pizza, and I was having a pizza delivered. And I told the pizza place, look, when you pull up, call my phone. I'll meet you at the car. Don't go knock on the door. So the guy says, okay. So I was kind of keep my eyes out for this pizza delivery guy. Yeah, I was with Kyle, Northern Tier Metal Detector. Thank you. I was with Kyle. So the guy comes out, politely kicks me off, and I tell him, I say, look, I'll leave. I get it. But I just ordered a pizza, bro. Would you mind if I kind of just hang around for 20 minutes? Because this pizza's coming. So he's like, yeah, you can hang around. Maybe I can have a slice. And I go, yeah, maybe. And, so I'm waiting around. The wife's like sneering. I'm not detecting anymore, but I'm there. But I ordered food. I already paid for it. So I'm just kind of waiting in his yard. And that was like the most uncomfortable 20 minutes that I've ever spent in my whole life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got kicked off then. Earlier today, I told you I got kicked off when the deaf guy's wife came home and threw bricks at us. Again, I was with Kyle. It seems like me and Kyle got kicked out a lot. Kyle used to wear a shirt that said
Cereal.
And cereal was spelled like Cereal. And there was a picture of a bowl with 2 spoons in it. And he thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny.
We got kicked out of 3 spots with him wearing the serial killer shirt.
I remember that shirt.
Yeah.
I remember it.
That was.
I thought it was a funny shirt.
So you got to stop wearing that shirt, man. Anybody else? I'm sure in the chat they have, but from my panel, anyone else get kicked out?
Well, I didn't get kicked out, but I did have a neighbor there, that lady who put her boom box out there in her patio, and so I wasn't kicked out, but she was trying to chase me away. I wasn't on her property. I was just, the adjoining property, but she didn't like me being there.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
So she played that loud music, but with my earphones on, I really didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I think the cows enjoy it more than anything else.
Yeah, that was I don't know.
That was weird.
Problem. She just didn't like people.
No.
Yeah. Here's Mud SWAT. This was the reason I got kicked out too. I was told I could detect, but got kicked out because I started digging holes.
Hello.
Yeah.
My pizza guy, where I got kicked out for the pizza place, was the exact same reason. Where when the guy came out and told me, you got to go, he said his line was, "I said you could detect, but I didn't know you were going to be digging." So, what do you even say to that? Yeah. Oh, I was going to just hold my hand over and cast a spell and hope the stuff would fly up like a magnet. Whatever.
Well,
the only thing that happened to me one time, the lady of the house, she said yes. She allowed us to detect. It was fine. But then when the husband came home, he actually chased us off then.
Yeah. And ask Doug, like when a few places when I went over, and at that place where you got electrocuted, Rich, I went over across the street to try to get that place. That place was so old, like 1730 or whatever. I walk over, the guy's sitting out front, old guy, gardening, told him who I was, told him what we were doing across the street. Would you mind if I come detect? And the guy says yes. awesome. So I said, well, would you mind if we let your wife know? And he's like, well, why? And I said, well, if we show up, and I don't like any surprises. So he says, okay, I'll go in and talk to her. And he went in, and good thing, because she came out and she's like, no. So we definitely would have got kicked out if I didn't ask one spouse, let's go check with the other spouse. And apparently she was against it. You were supposed to go back, Doug, and try to charm him again. I don't know if you ever made it back, but
No.
Doug has that charm. Apparently, I charmed the husband, not so much.
Yeah, I'm being the ladies' man.
Yeah, you're the ladies' man.
Yeah.
Here, I'll start this one too. I'll start with Charley on this one. Have you ever lost a good find after you found it?
Yes, my first real. It was a 1 real. It was a Mexican real, 1 real. And I came home. My wife said, let's see it. And I couldn't find where it was. And what happened was when I found it, I didn't have a finds box at the time, but I wrapped it in tissue paper and put it in my ashtray in my truck. And when I came home, I always clean out my truck, with debris, candy bar wrappers. And I saw this paper. I just threw everything in the trash bag. And here I couldn't find it, but then I realized it was in the trash. I dumped out my trash cans in my basement, 2 large trash cans. I dumped everything out. I went through with a detector, and I found it then. But it's in the trash.
You're lucky too.
Yeah. Could you imagine Charley at the landfill every night looking for?
Yeah, but I don't know what possessed me to do that. I just wrapped it up in paper and put it in the ashtray. And when I cleaned my truck out, I forgot I did that. And up in the trash cans down in the basement, and I dumped everything out on the basement floor. And I found it then. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually did similar, where I accidentally threw away a seated quarter. When I dumped my trash, I forgot that it was a weird story where I wrapped it up in a tissue and put it in my trash bucket because I didn't want to carry it around all day.
Yeah.
And when I got home, I threw the trash away and forgot. Same thing. I had to put a tarp out back, dump the trash can out, and I'm looking for a folded up tissue. So I had to pick up every folded tissue and squeeze it to see if there's a coin inside. Talk about disgusting, but I found it. I finally found it also.
Very similar to what I did.
Yeah.
The pinpointer is actually what found it then.
I didn't think about that. I'm using my hands like an idiot.
Yeah.
I should have used that. Doug, how about you? Did you ever lose a find after you found it?
Yeah. I put it in the back of the car and drove around with it for a couple of weeks. And every now and then I'd see it there. And I'll get it and put it in its appropriate storage spot, and never did, and can't figure out whatever happened to it. I knew it was a big silver spoon too. I couldn't figure out what happened. So I guess I must have grabbed it, cleaning the car out, and chucked it. But
you had one like a week ago where I forget what it was. You found something, and it was something good. The homeowner came out an hour or two later, and you wanted to show it to him, and you couldn't find it. You're looking in your finds case. You're starting to get all flustered.
And you found it in the bottom of my bag.
I come over and I go, Doug, let's hold up. Did you check your pockets? Yes. Did you look in your bag? Yeah, I wouldn't put it in my bag.
I was furious.
He was like a little baby. So I said, Doug, humor me. Give me your bag. He gives me his bag. I start sorting through it. There it is in the bottom of his bag.
Yeah. And it was I won't say anything because we haven't shown the video yet, but it was a really, I'm excited. That made my day, actually. Yeah. That find.
So no, it was in there. Yeah. Rich, how about you? Have you ever found something and then lost it?
I don't think I have. I remember a couple times thinking I lost something, and I remember like that small freak out you have, when you think you're lost something, but I don't think I ever actually have.
You haven't? Okay, that's fair. You're still new. One day you will, and we'll laugh along with you.
Yeah.
Lynn, I don't know if you have yet. I mean, you found like 4 notable things since you haven't lost any of them yet, have you?
Got them all.
So, all right.
Oh,
well, that's
except
good.
for that last one, which we gave away.
What?
Well, I don't have the last one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's different. Yeah, you didn't lose it.
No.
All right, that's fine. All right, well, let me get rid of this.
Jason, Jessica lost a button one time. She was really upset with herself. She lost it, and then she was so upset. But anyway, 3 months later, she found it in her dryer.
Oh, I remember that.
It was
I remember that.
a blowhole button.
Yeah, I remember that.
She was so upset, and then 3 months later, she saw it in her dryer.
Yeah, so. I remember. Let me see. I'm gonna load something up. I said I wasn't gonna do this, Doug, but I'm gonna load up one. Let me see if this will work. Hold on. Let me do this because this is gonna lead into the last question, Doug, and I was gonna play a little clip for one. Bringing it up. Okay. So my last question, Doug, last one of the night, and we're going to wrap this up because it's almost been 2 hours.
Yep.
Was can you remember any particularly really funny interaction you had detecting, whether it was the property owner, a neighbor, not with us necessarily, because we always have a funny interactions, but your funniest interaction with someone that you weren't expecting while we were hunting, something really memorable. And I'm going to let you think about it because I'm going to play mine. So I actually have a clip, only because I put it on Facebook like 8 months ago when I remembered it. So let me present this real quick. Now mine was probably from 6 years ago or so, Doug. You'll remember it when you see it. And mine has sound, so I'm going to turn the sound up. I'll play mine in full screen.
All right.
And then we'll go around funniest interaction. Mine will explain itself. Are you ready? Let me bring it full screen.
All right, this is Macy.
Can you hear
Macy
it, Doug?
is 3, right?
Yeah.
Macy has a brother, and he's 2. He's following us around.
Can you hear it, Doug?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if they could hear it. I'll rewind it because I want to make sure people could hear it.
Yeah.
All right, this is Macy. Macy is 3, right?
Yeah.
Macy has a brother, and he's 2. He's following us around. I can't figure out what the brother's name is, and Macy's telling me I need you guys to help.
Oh, so we have a mom.
And you have a mom, yes, absolutely. But what's your brother's name?
Ashen Michael.
Ashen Michael.
No, Ashen.
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 Ashen. I'm saying what you're saying.
Ashen.
Austin?
Ashen.
Ashen?
Ashen.
Leroy, am I missing it? Ashen.
Ashen.
I'm saying what you're saying. The same sounds are coming out. Icing?
Ashen.
Icing Michael.
Ashen.
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 Austin. Is it Austin? Did I get it?
Ashen.
I didn't get it. Oh well. I'm gonna have to ask the mom.
All right, I'm gonna stop it, Doug. Now, I just remember that one because it was particularly funny for me, Doug, because we were strangers. We don't know these people. But I'm curious, as a bonus, if anyone in the chat, people must have saw the video already. What the little girl's brother's name actually was. I had to ask the mom when the mom came out, because it sounded like Austin. It sounded like icing. If you don't remember, then Charley, Lynn, Rich, Doug, put your guess out. But if you remember, because I told the answer, then don't comment.
You want his name?
Only if you don't remember.
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
Because you've got that on a video short.
Yeah, I didn't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, people are putting it in the chat.
I watch everything you put out.
Oh, you're the great. I'm gonna put a picture of me mooning you tomorrow. People are putting it in the chat, so it kind of ruins it. But
yeah,
her brother's name was Hudson Michael. Hudson Michael. And I just remember, the little girl was super adorable. So I wanted to, but it was just so funny that, it was so clear to her. and it was so unclear to me. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, I'm saying what you're saying.
The same sounds are coming out.
Yeah, yeah. I like the way she clarified she had a mother too. That was,
She let me know that she had a mother, and her mother was sitting right off to the side.
Yeah. That
So
was
Doug,
pretty cool.
famous, your most funniest interaction, Doug. Do you have one? I know I should have prefaced it earlier, so you could have thought about it.
I interact with, as you well know, I interact quite a bit with the property owners, and I guess that's why we have the relationship that we have. But nothing that that I think is particularly funny, not like what you just showed, but I just like the fact that I feel, and where you and I went the other day, I told the gentleman who's now a widower that I feel like I make friends by doing this, and it's a nice feeling to make a new friend, you know. So
The king of friends, Doug.
yeah, I try to be.
You're the king of friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have sent you guys the questions earlier because I'm sure there's been funny interactions if you've had more time to think about it. That's why I tried to stall with 3-year-old Macy, who 3-year-old Macy's probably like 11 or 12 now.
Yeah. She would be. She would get a kick out of this video, I think.
I have no idea where in the world she is. So, 5 Mile Relic Hunter said Rich looks like he's doing a photo shoot. Yeah, he does. He's like,
I had to plug my phone in, so it's not in a great spot at the moment.
okay, that's fair. Charley, do you recall any funny interactions over the years with property owners, neighbors, anything where, it was? I've had so many funny ones I could think of.
We tend to interact with people, but it seems like more so with animals.
Oh yeah.
We've had a lot of
we interact with animals quite a bit.
Chickens,
goats, pigs, chickens, horses.
Oh, the miniature horse this week was great.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I was going to play. Let me see if I have it here. Maybe I'll here it is. I'm going to play another real quick little one. Wasn't planning on doing this either, but hold on. This one's only
while you're doing that, two things. Alan Cleveland said a real friend wouldn't eat your chocolate.
Alan Cleveland's the one who sent it to me.
Exactly. Send it to us.
Let me clarify what happened, just for the record. Alan Cleveland, who is a friend from Alaska, he sent me a package. Now, in the package, there was 5 gifts, one for every one of us. And the gift was like, I don't have mine here, but it was like a keychain with like a toothbrush, something personal for everyone. I just gave Lynn hers this weekend. They were really cool.
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, thank you, Alan.
Yes.
On top of that, he included 5 chocolate bars that were like local to Alaska with like interesting flavors, like sea salt from the Baltic Ocean and like, weird stuff like that. Mm. So the day I didn't know what was in the box because I opened it with all of us there. So I hand out the brushes and I see all these chocolate bars. So I say, all right, I put them in the car, said we'll have them later. I had no refrigerator. So, throughout the course of the day, they kind of melted. So I said, I'll go home. I'll put them in the fridge. Next week when I come, they'll be solid and we can all eat them. Well, the next week I forgot to bring them. The week after that, I forgot to bring them. Now, in the meantime, I got 2 teenage boys in my house that see 5 chocolate bars in the fridge. So they got into one of them. And I was like, all right, well, I'll eat mine. It's been like 2 weeks. I'll eat mine. But then I forgot it the next week. And I'm like, well, these are going to go bad. Maybe I should have. And lo and behold, I wound up eating all 5 chocolate bars over the course of it.
I think he ate them right away and just made up all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't. Um,
It was the next week he was at the dentist. So that was your penalty, I think.
Rich, here was a funny animal encounter that Rich had, and this is very short. I thought it was funny. I was going to put it up as a little. I'm putting together a video of animal encounters over the years. So this was like one of the many, many clips. But see if you remember this one, Doug. This one was kind of funny.
Rich has something in his hand he wants me to see. Oh, it's a worm.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not a worm? Oh, it's a little snake.
Oh yeah, right.
Little baby garter.
Oh, look at his mouth open up. He looks angry. Oh, look, he's regurgitated a worm. I've never seen anything like that. It was like Animal Planet stuff, Rich. In your hand, he just regurgitated an entire worm.
Now we all have to leave this area.
He'll get away.
Not if we step on him.
So that was. Do you remember that one, Doug?
Yes, I do. But that recalled to mind the encounter you had with a garter snake. Speaking of the dentist, and you cut him in half.
Oh yeah. Not on purpose.
That was definite Richard Nixon material.
Did you guys even know that a lot of snakes for the winter hibernate under the ground?
Yeah.
And I was digging a hole, and when I dug the hole and flipped it over, I saw a snake. And I was like, whoa. So I went to pick him up, and it was half a snake. And I'm like, oh, no. So I look, and the other half's in the hole. So this snake was like hiding under the ground for the winter, and I chopped him in half.
Yeah. Do you remember where that was?
How am I supposed to avoid that?
Do you remember where that was? We were
No.
just referencing a dentist.
Was that at Dennis Dan's house?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you found that right in that spot where you were digging. Did you get him, Lynn?
You saw that? It was a moth.
Yes.
Oh, was it a moth?
Yeah. You found a quarter, a barber quarter, if you remember correctly.
Oh, I remember the fines. I don't remember the where I was. But Rich, do you remember the regurgitated snake?
I do. Now that I you know what, I hadn't, and then until you played the video, I was thinking about when I took that little turtle down to the water.
That's in there. I have so many animal things. So many animal things.
And then going back to your original question, though, my funniest interaction is probably when I butt dialed the police.
Oh yeah,
they came,
and the police showed up. The police. Doug, you weren't there. Do you remember Charley?
I just left.
Yeah, oh, you weren't there.
I found the shoe buckle. I found out, and I had to go home. And you guys were still there. And then I found out later on that the cops came. I forget what township it was. I don't know if it was where my son's a policeman. I can't remember what township that was.
It was the next town out. Now I dropped your son's name to the cop. The cop wasn't mad. He understood. We were joking, but I did drop your son's name because Charlie's son is the police chief of the next town over.
Okay.
But, Rich butt dialed 911, just throughout the course of the day. We were at a stranger's house and we're detecting, and then this cop starts walking around to the backyard and we're like, uh-oh, this can't be good.
Yeah.
Rich butt dialed 911 and you got to let your buddy have it when they butt dial 911 and the cops show up. I think you hung up when you realized it, but then they just dispatched it based on your GPS.
Well, it was even weirder because they called me back, and I told them, I was like, "No, there's no emergency. I butt dialed by accident," and they were like, "Okay, all right." And then they sent somebody anyway. Apparently,
they still do.
They asked you for the address. I remember you giving the address.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you gave them the address?
Well, they asked.
Oh.
Okay. And I was like, I don't know. I just told you I'm out.
I don't know where I am. That doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder they came.
Yeah, no wonder
Yeah.
they came, right?
Hey,
They
somebody
usually-
liked my hat. Wendy Olson liked my hat. I do have several left if anyone's interested.
Oh yeah, don't forget. Yep. Reach out to Dog Tag Doug if you like his hat. Doug, someone liked your underwear too. Can you?
I've got them in 7 colors.
All right, he's got them in different colors. They're
His
all
underwear is very religious, very holy.
the colors are all different shades of brown.
Yeah, they have the names of the days of
There's
the
a
week
couple
on
mustardy looking ones.
Yeah, they're all different shades of brown. Some have stripes, some are blotchy.
likes variety.
Yes.
Reach out to
But all the
Doug.
same fragrance.
Yeah, reach out to Doug if you would. All right, Doug. I had a few more questions. I'll save them for the future, but we're gonna wind this up. It's like been 2 hours. Next week we'll have a guest come on. It should be really fun. I'm not as familiar with I was not familiar with the guy at all when Doug mentioned it. So I've been watching some of his videos. It's interesting because there's a lot of conspiracy things, UFOs, Egyptian this, like werewolves, Bigfoot. That should be really fun. You can have a lot of fun with that stuff.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to having him on again. Terry Carter. I'll learn more about him before next week. I did talk to him yesterday. Great guy. And I also talked to Lynn's incredible find that you were talking about. I have a date of when the woman's coming up for the epic return. So I'll tell you about that when the show's over.
Okay.
But before we close out, I'll give everyone their final words. I do want to say a couple more hellos that I may have missed throughout the night. NEPA History and Archaeology search. Thank you for making it in. Detecting Adventures. I think that's Aggie, if I'm not mistaken. Good to see Aggie. Adrian Tucker, thank you for coming in. Was here a long time if I missed you. Wendy Olson, Sue Ramsey. Again, Metal Bretectionist, our friend. I just did the show, found her incredible rotated die Hibernia coin, which was incredible. Who else do I got in here? Grim 77. I think it's a lot of the same. Oh, Ken Hurst is here.
Ken Hurst. Yeah.
Ken Hurst. I'm glad to see Ken. Ken, great guy. I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's doing well. I left you a voice message a few weeks ago, Ken. Tim Mason is here. Doug Badenshaw. Prairie Pirate. Our friend David Chumley. Marvin Schabacher. Everybody, thank you for coming in tonight. Final thoughts in the night before we get out of here, Lynn. I'll start with you. We'll go clockwise. I'll put myself down here so I go last. Go ahead, Lynn.
All righty. It was a fun night tonight. We're probably all going to think of things to say after we're off. Middle of the night, all these things are going to come to you that we could have mentioned, but that'll be for another time. But anyway, it was great to see everybody and look forward to this weekend.
Good. Thank you, Lynn. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, that was a really fun show. I like this style of questions, like kind of unique questions that you don't hear in the metal detecting world a lot, But I think we'll run out of questions pretty quick.
Well, I wasn't sure how fast they'd go. I had 87 of them. We got to like 19.
Okay.
I'll save them one here, one there in the future.
That's good. Yeah.
Space them out.
Charley, final thoughts in the night, my friend.
Well, there's 2 things I like to say. Adrian Tucker, he heard some chimes, some clock chimes. They are my wife's clocks that you heard. Second thing is, it's Jessica's birthday today. Jessica hunts with us.
Oh, I didn't know it was her birthday.
It's her birthday today. I just wish her a happy birthday, Jessica.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
The Lock Jess Monster.
Yeah,
That's her nickname. Happy birthday, Jess. How old is she, Charlie? In her 20s still, or?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how old she is. Yeah, she could still be in her late 20s. Yeah.
You don't ask a woman her age.
You can when they're young. Okay.
But
I would like to know why we weren't invited to the party.
Well, we were all invited, Doug. It was just you that wasn't. We've been keeping it a secret all week. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We had a great time.
But I enjoyed tonight the questions. It brought back things from the past that it makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm putting like the animal one, a bunch of interesting quick clips together for fun memories over the years. You know, we've had so many weird things and fun things and exciting things happen, and you forget.
I just wish you had a video of the time that I was on a rock pile and there were bulls surrounding the rock pile. I couldn't get off.
Yeah, you were
Couldn't get off
stuck.
the rock. The bulls were watching me for a long time.
Yeah, you were stuck there. You were
I
trapped.
was stuck there. Yeah. So.
Were you feeling like a cow, Charlie?
Yeah, cow and heat, right?
How about Doug and his big toad that peed all over him?
Oh, the
yeah.
toad. I
Yeah,
remember
we got some good animal.
Yeah, we
clips.
have a lot of animals.
there's been a lot of animals.
Yeah. So, but hey, it was a fun night, guys. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We'll be putting some more together. It's some really funny moments. I was going through the clips. One where Doug and I had to jump over this creek once. Now, Doug doesn't jump very often, first of all.
Yeah.
But Doug dumps over this creek. He gets right to the edge, jumps over, but it was mud. So when he jumps, his one foot got stuck. So one shoe was in the mud. He jumps, lands bare, sock on the other side. And then he's like, oh, my shoe's over there, but you got no way to get it. So then he had to put his sock in the mud.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
We do put ourselves in some situations.
Yep, got the whole thing on video too, Doug. That'll be a fun.
Yep. Well, see, that's what you got to do. Put out
Lynn's fart machine.
Yeah. Charlie bought into it.
Yeah. Doug, your final thoughts before we get out of here on the night.
I got nothing to say.
Doug's got nothing. You're not going to plug the Facebook channel, Doug.
Oh, yeah. Come on over to the Dog Tag Doug page if you're not here already. I got to say, we get some really nice finds from those who are joined and a lot of nice comments. So you want to see what everyone else is doing in the metal detecting genre, come on over. And if you've got something nice, show it. We'd love to see it.
There you go. And you can probably buy Doug's hats there, too. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not plugging them, but I got a few and got a few shirts, Dog Tag Doug shirts. So,
and the underwear.
And the underwear.
All right. Good job.
Just very stylish underwear.
It is. Yeah, I like it. Only lightly used.
Only slightly. Yeah.
All right. We're going to close this out, Doug. I'm getting tired and my throat's going to hurt.
Yep.
So for everybody who made it in today, thank you very much. Look forward to next Tuesday's video, which is going to be a banger. And to set the stage for Tuesday, Doug.
Give me a clue.
Well, I got to put out a video on Sunday because it needs to kind of set the stage for Tuesday.
Oh, I think I know what.
I don't know if you'll know or not, but keep your eyes out. I'm going to have to put a special video out Sunday just so that you're not totally caught off guard on Tuesday. So you'll get a bonus this week. Hot Mess Fishing made it. Alicia, how are you?
Wow.
All right.
Just checking in?
She's got a life, Doug.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you were that cute, you'd have a life too.
That's true. What do I know about having a life? So I'm glad you made it, Alicia, but we are closing out on the night. But I will have to talk to you later. So, all right, Doug, we're out of this joint. So, hey, thank you for watching, everybody. Happy hunting, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Later.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.